Hi beautiful people, April Mack here, going live with day 4 of my masterclass series, all about how to become a soul-led entrepreneur, something that many of you know I am super passionate about. Having gone about it all the wrong way myself, I'm here to teach you the things that I wish that I had known from the start. So if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay, so I know you were here, and do leave a comment. Let me know how you're finding the content. Is it useful? Have you got any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions, and I can come back to them after the live because I'll be checking any comments. And if you know of anyone else who would find this valuable, please do share it with them. And if you're going to be watching live, then let me know you're here by sending a love heart or a wave or whatever you can do. Now I'm just checking, sometimes I'm not seeing the comments, so I'm just checking that. Let's start. Today I'm talking all about business models. So those of you who don't know what they are, I'm going to totally explain that to you. And just if in case this is the first live out of the 5 that you've watched, that you've missed 3 days, that's fine. You don't have to watch them in order. You can go back and watch them. Hi Lauren, nice to see you, love. You can go back and watch the other videos from the start whenever. So day 1 was all about your mindset, how to get your mindset around becoming an entrepreneur. Perhaps you haven't been one before, you're thinking of starting a business, you know, the sorts of things that you need to think about from the get-go. The second day was about the difference between a hobby and a business, just explaining some of the legalities and things you might need to consider there. Day 3 was all about how to get clear on your vision and your purpose for your business, and really thinking about how you can achieve that clarity, not certainty, but certainly clarity. And today is about the business models. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about business foundations, so admin, accounting, that side of things. So this is all part of my launch party for my program called Entrepreneur, which starts this Saturday and runs for 10 weeks. So I'll tell you more about that at the end in case you're interested. But I do want to let you know that basically that means the end of summer if you're here in this side of the world with me. So by the end of summer, you could have yourself set up with a beautiful business and actually be making money. That's my goal for the people doing that program, is that you find a model that works and that you make money fast. And if you've already got a business, it's not, it's still a useful program to join. It'll still be very relevant, and what I'll be doing is helping you scale your business. And it will be quite an intimate group, so I'll be able to really work with you quite closely. So I'll tell you more about that at the end if you're interested. No pressure, but if you're interested. Okay, so business models. Not sure how much you know about business models, but essentially the main thing that a business model is asking in its simplest form is, how do you plan to make money, right? So businesses are about making money. Of course, many of us feel very passionate about our businesses, and as a soul-led entrepreneur, you're probably someone who really wants to change lives and you want to do something that's going to impact others. That's certainly the case for me. And so, of course, your business model, you want to be making sure that you achieve that as well. Hi, beautifuls. So that's the simplest form. A business model is how you're going to make money. How are you going to create something of value, take it out to market, however that is, and sell it to someone, give them value in exchange for receiving money. That's all I mean by business model. And you can look it up online, and there's all kinds of articles and complicated formulas for having a business model. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, I would recommend that you really, if you're starting out, that you think of the simplest way you can make money, the simplest way you can do something that you already know how to do and get it out to people who need that thing. So the first question you could even ask yourself is, okay, what problem can I solve for somebody else? Because often that's what we're doing with business. We might be helping someone lose weight, helping them get fit, helping them get healthy, helping them learn a bunch of stuff. That's what I do. You know, what is it that you can help somebody with, and what would they be prepared to pay? And how are you going to get it out there, and how are you going to get their money? It's pretty much as simple as that. So the things, and you might want to write these things down. Who is the customer? So I'm assuming that you've got some idea of who you're here to help. If you don't even know that, that's okay. you will probably need to get to that. And if you're not there yet, that's something that we can work on in the Entrepreneur Program. But for those who do know, ask yourself, who's my customer? What problem am I solving for them, or what am I helping them with? And just get really clear about who they are and what you're here to help them with. And I'm going to shortly talk about my business model to help give you an example that you can then just imagine and then work through for yourself. The second question to ask yourself is, what does that customer value? We might get interrupted in a second because my children just got home and they won't know I'm on a live. So just bear with me if I have to manage a child in the interim. So just looking out for that. So what does the customer value? And I'll share with you the things that I can say about what my customers value. And so you can write out a list, what is it they like about your potential services? What are they going to like? What are they going to get from it? What's going to be the value in it for them? And the third thing you ask yourself is, how am I going to deliver that value, and how much is it going to cost me in order to deliver it? So that's where you just need to understand how much, what kind of things do you have to put in place in order to create that value for the person. And that is it. Those three questions form the basics of any business model. So don't care whether you're IBM or whether you're, the April Mac Show or whatever it is. They are the questions that they're asking. And of course you can have lots of different services to achieve those things. Hello to anyone coming on. But essentially that's what we're looking at. There's lots of templates out there that you can use. You'll be able to find them on Google, business models, and there'll be all sorts of different things, and they can get quite complicated. When I started out, I did use some of those templates, and I found that I spent more time creating and working on that stuff, which is all very theoretical, than actually doing it. And then by the time I got around to doing it, I was kind of a bit over it. So I recommend very much really working with your heart, what's on your soul, what's in your calling. They won't tell you that in, Harvard Business School. That's not how they do things, but that's why I'm a little bit different to most business schools that you'll go into. I create things that are a little bit left of field, left of center. But that's how I work, and I've found it to work really well for me, rather than following, the textbook type approach. What's on your heart to deliver, and then getting it out there as quickly as you possibly can, almost in a test format first, seeing how people receive it, and then you can enhance it as you go. And in fact, there is a methodology which I do recommend you have a look at if you're starting out in business, and it's called the Lean Startup Method. And basically it's just really a framework for how to do exactly what I'm saying, which is keeping it simple. Keep your business model simple. Think of the quickest, cheapest, fastest, most simplest way to get whatever that thing is that you feel you're here to do, to get it out to people in exchange for money. You can do it really quickly. I promise you that, because like at the start of April of this year, some of you will know this story, I had 0 clients, 0 business really. I'd been networking, so I had some contacts. So it wasn't like I had nobody, but I only had about 200 followers on Facebook, and I didn't have any business per se. And I had an idea of something I could create and put it out there and in exchange for money, and it worked. And I started with that, and I've built on that. And I've basically developed my business over the last 7 months or so, and it's becoming very profitable. I have a one-to-many model, so that's another thing to think about. Are you going to be servicing people one-to-one if you're offering services, or one-to-many, like you're going to be working with groups of people like I do in my courses? Obviously, if you work with groups, you're going to impact more lives quicker and make more money potentially, depending on what you do and how you set it up. So that's what I want to say about that. So go look up Lean Canvas. Oh, not Lean Canvas. Well, there is a thing called a Lean Canvas, which is basically a business model on a page. But even that gets a little bit more complex than I'd like you to be working on at this point if you're at the early stages. So really just answer those 3 questions that we just went through. Just write it out and see where you land. Now, let me just quickly check my notes here. So the things you want to think about as well is how are you going to get your business, your service or your product out there? What platforms are you going to use? I use Facebook as my predominant platform. That's where most of my customers are. I've got a presence on Instagram, I've got a presence on LinkedIn, but I don't get a lot of business from those. I've got a website. Again, I don't get much business from that, but it's where I house the details of all my programs. So for me at this point in my life cycle of my business, it's worth having a website. But I don't recommend that people go out and create a website as the first thing they do. That's what I did, and I did an arse about because I actually didn't really know what I was doing yet, and I went and created this big monster of a bloody website that took me ages, and I've since had to pretty much throw it away because I've changed my whole services. All of my services are different than when I started out. So don't start out with a website. You just need one platform, potentially Facebook or Instagram or somewhere that you like to hang out, and that's where you can sell from. And in this program as well, Entrepreneur, Soul-Led Entrepreneur, I'll be teaching you how to do all those things, how to sell and feel good about it. Feel so beautifully aligned when you sell. You know, it doesn't have to feel sleazy. Like when I started out, oh my goodness, the tactics I was taught, the marketing tactics made me feel sick to the stomach because I was having to pretend there was scarcity and say it in a particular way and pretty much lie. That's what I was being taught, and I do not do any of that. I don't believe in it, and I don't believe anybody needs to have a successful business. All you really need is heart. Know what you're here to do, and deliver from the heart. Be authentically you, and get on here and do the sorts of things that I've been doing. So let me just quickly check here. Just quick fundamentals about the lean startup methodology. The fundamental principles of that are basically that as quick as you can, you get a service together or something that you're going to sell. You get it out really quickly so you can test the market. You're kind of like an inventor or an experimenter. You've got a hypothesis in your mind that you have something of value that other people want. You put it out there, you see if you can get some sales for it, and you get rapid feedback. Before you go, so many people get this wrong. They build something for a year, then put it out and find out nobody wants it. That's what I did when I started. I built stuff, I created all this stuff. And really, it wasn't even on my heart anymore by the end of that year to deliver it, and no one really wanted it because I hadn't tested the market using these quick principles. So quick, simple, cheap. That's what you really need. And test it, get feedback, then refine it. Get it out there again, refine it if you want to. Maybe it doesn't even need refining. So when I say quick, simple and cheap, the things that will be the simplest and the quickest for you to deliver are the things that you already know how to do. The things that you can just almost do in your sleep. And for those of you who know me and have been following me and watched me over the years, I talk about this as being your G-spot. So it's the thing that lights you up. Your G-spot is your genius spot. So what are you a genius at that other people find hard? So for me, I'm a genius at soaking up information, turning it into something that's easy for other people to digest, and teaching it. So that's something I'm really good at, and that's why teaching and mentoring and training online has been so easy for me. I don't even really have to do a great deal of preparation because it comes very naturally to me. Whereas someone else, if that took them ages to come up with a program, to put the stuff together, to get it out there, perhaps it's not their genius zone. And so if you're able to work within your genius zone and deliver the stuff that comes easily and naturally to you, you are going to find that you can get stuff out there very quickly, cheaply, and see whether it's a goer or not. And be prepared, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, be prepared for things to not fly, for things to fail. And I put it in inverted commas, fail, because nothing is a failure. You're learning all the time. It's like an experimenter or an inventor. Every time they test a hypothesis and it and it fails, so to speak, it's just more information. It's just like, okay, that didn't work. We now know that, that chemical mixed with that one, that's not going to do it. But we've ruled that out. We go on to the next thing. So every time you do something or put something out there, if it doesn't fly, you got to ask yourself a bunch of questions. Have I just not got the right audience? Did I put it out at the wrong time? Is it not what my people want, etc., etc.? So you can learn from every step of the way, and you will grow really, really fast. So before we finish, I just want to talk about my business model, give you a bit of a flavor so you can see how it looks someone else's model and make sense of it based on those 3 questions that I laid out at the start. And then I'm going to talk to you about my entrepreneur program for those who feel like that's the next step they want to take. So my business model is basically, in terms of the customers, who are my customers? My customers are people who either already have a business and want to grow it, and they want to grow it in alignment with their soul. So, like I've got that spiritual flavor to what I do. And they're also people who are new to business. But that's actually a new segment for me. So if you're watching me and you haven't started a business yet, then you're one of my new market segments. And so I don't yet know exactly, what you want. I think I know what you need, which is soul-led entrepreneur, but you are a new market segment for me. So this is me putting my stuff out there and seeing how it flies, seeing how it helps you. And obviously I've been doing this for a while, I've been delivering online programs for a while, so I do know what I'm doing. So that's my 2 customer segments. The next thing is, what do they value? And this is just an overarching statement about what my customers value in terms of what I deliver. My customers value honesty. They value my experience in business. So my background is, like in corporate domain, as well as my spiritual side. Those 2 things mixed together is what they value. They value getting quick results with me and seeing their businesses grow and their income increase. They value my no bullshit approach. And I think sometimes the fact that I swear, they value that. They value the how-to information that I give, so the practical steps that I take them through so they can actually implement what I'm suggesting, not just a load of fluff. They value connection with like-minded people, so that's why I create groups and we do Zooms together. So it's not just the April Mac show, me telling you what to do. It's groups of people where we help each other. So I've created mastermind style groups in what I deliver. That's the sort of thing. They also value the fact that I can help them solve any of their business problems. So that's the things they value. And so you do that exercise for your customers. What do they value? And if you're new up to business, of course, you don't know yet, but what would you like them to value about the services that you offer? The next thing, the 3rd question was, how are you going to make money in your business? So for me, I deliver that value that I've just explained, and I do that by offering group programs online and one-to-one coaching. And so the time it takes me to deliver my services is basically the time it takes me to think and create something, as well as the delivery time. So this is where you're thinking about all the costs that go into creating the service or product that you're going to deliver. So for me, it's my time. That's one of my costs. And then I've got my business related costs, like having Zoom, having Facebook is obviously free, and I use Facebook groups as my platform. I use Canva to create some of the stuff. So they're all my costs that go into delivering what I do. And so my costs are very low. They are about $250 per month, which I believe is a very low cost to deliver the kind of services that I deliver. And so my profit margin is high. And so if you can have low costs, this is all part of your business model, low costs to deliver what you're here to deliver, then you're going to have a reasonable profit margin, which is what we want when we're in business, so that we can put food on the table and feed our families and have a good life. So I'm just going to check if there's any questions. Doesn't look like there are. If you have questions and you're watching on replay, then please do leave them. I will come back to them. Finally, I just want to end by just reminding you about my program on Soul-Led Entrepreneur, which starts on Saturday. It goes for 10 weeks, and we're going to delve into all the aspects of starting your own business, or if you've already got one and it just isn't getting the traction that you feel it deserves, then do think about joining, because we're going to go through all the basics and we're going to look at how to scale it as well. So have a look. If you want more details on what's in it and how it's going to run, go to my website, which is aprilmac.com.au/entrepreneur, and all the details are there. And if there's any questions, feel free to message me on Messenger here on Facebook. Well, I don't know, is Messenger considered Facebook? I'm sure it is. But feel free to message me and we can have a chat to see if it is right for you. There's a couple of different ways you can join the program. You can just join the program itself. You can join the program plus the mastermind, or you can do the program, the mastermind plus one-on-one coaching, depending on where you're at and where you want to be by the end. So we'll be finished by the end of February 2021. By that point, you should be up and running and feeling really great about your business. So that's it for now. I hope you have a beautiful evening. We've got one more day to go. Tomorrow we're going to cover all the foundations of business, looking at I'd say it's a little boring, but it's not boring, but you know, the admin, the accounting, cash flow, all of that sort of stuff. So I'll see you at the same time, same bat channel tomorrow at 4 o'clock if you can make it. All right, lots of love. Bye for now.